Hey, Tracy Lewis from Stuff and Things. It is that time, and this time we are in Bend, Oregon. The last time we were in Bend, Oregon, which was like 2 winters ago, we came down here and got snowed on and had to go get my paper pumpkin in the snow. So this is the special Shelli kit, and it is got flowers on the box instead of the normal red box, and we're a little bit out from the 1,000 trails, so as soon as I get home, I get to creating. So stay tuned. Alright, I've made it back, and I'm all set up to unbox, see what we have inside. Again, this time I'm still a little bit early. I had this drop shipped directly to the closest post office. So, I haven't seen a lot. This is the Stampin' spot for the month is Early Espresso. We have Grateful, hello, thank you, for you, dear friend, an ampersand, the word and, love, and then a hugs. Looks like we've got some dots here, some splatters, feather, a couple of different birds, and some flowers. So that will get us started. We have a special box, as you saw. It's got the pink flowers and the green. With some soft peach tissue. It looks like 4 different card styles, 3 of each. I know these are not the full-size cards, so for me I'll probably do a lot of enlarging these to A2 size. So 1 of each will be enlarged using some layers, and then I will get to being creative. So let's see what the materials are. I see a bird in there. We have an interesting, not quite a twine. This is twine. And this is just like a popcorn, for lack of a better term. A popcorn style, a little bit heavier in the pink. We've got, looks like 6 blue envelopes and 6 peach and pink envelopes. I am expecting 4 different card front styles. Oh, and nestled in here are some feathers in vellum and some flowers in just a die cut cardstock. So here's 3 different styles, and then it looks like there's the 4th one. More die cuts. It looks like this isn't quite silver, it might be champagne. And some velvet ribbon, very pretty. 4 birds and mini dimensionals and double-sided dots. All right. So on that note, I'm going to go away, do some stamping, and do at least one, but I'm actually thinking I'm going to do all 4, and those will be one of the alternatives, being the enlarging of each of them to make them A2 size. So I will be back shortly. Alright, I picked one to do create with, and I'm sticking with the instructions except one thing, and I will show you what I have done. I have the snips. The snips have a cover for the end of the blades, and I took my piercing pad. I wanted to give these flowers some shape, so I take my snips. I used to have a ball tool that came with a flower making kit, and it was lost, so I am inventing my own flower forming tool. And I'm purposefully trying to break the fibers a little bit when I push and turn. That is my goal. And then I get some shape to these flowers, and then the rest of them, though there used to be little tools you could use, I just use my fingers. So each of the flowers now are a cup, and then each leaf, if you can see on the side view, curves so that the outside part of the leaf tips up. So that is what I did to these two for my create. I took the Pool Party flower and bird design as the one I wanted to do. I created a thank you dear friend. I added the velvet after I stamped in the 2 corners. This is per the instructions. And then I have added the mini dimensionals to the back of this flower. And I will add a dimensional to that flower. And that really is as simple as these cards, and they are so pretty when they're done. So I've got a couple of alternatives I've already started working on. I can give you some heads ups. I will be tearing edges, sponging edges. I took the fibers on this baker's twine and I split it into 3 pieces to give it a more kind of a nesting look, so to speak. Materials that birds would want to take back to make their nests. So those are some ideas of what I'm doing, and there is a stamp here that has splotches. I've been using that, and I'm going to go away now, get a few of them further along. I can show you colors. I went through and picked out a few more colors than were called out. Petal pink. On this one I may add a little Mary Merlot to go with the centers of the flowers. I don't have the new colors that are coming out in June, so Tranquil Tide, which is a retiring in color, is the closest to this color that I have. I have Pool Party, Very Vanilla, Crumb Cake, Mossy Meadow, and Early Espresso. So these are colors I am playing with to make my A2 size. I am finding that I like the dimensions of this. This dimension, top to bottom, is a good dimension. You just have to, in order to make it fit into the math that would work for an A2 size card that starts out full size 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, I have to trim off some of the length of the end to make this fit. So that is what I'm working on, and I will come back shortly with some fun alternatives for everyone. All right, I am back. I have my alternatives somewhat ready to go and some extra examples to show you. I didn't really need to use a lot of extra material. I did use these two blends. They are light and dark Bermuda Bay. I had some embossed embossed cardstock that I used. I used the subtle embossing folder and the leaves, layered leaves, I believe is what it's called. I used Petal Pink, Mossy Meadow, Very Vanilla, and Pool Party cardstock. And then I also used Gray Granite. That particular card came out very cute. And the metallic pearls, not the silver, because you can tell it's too bluey silver, and it was the champagne silver, little tiny bit of pink to the foil. So I used these darker gold, kind of bronze looking metallic pearls. I already showed you the effect of shaping the flowers, which I really like to do. And I'm going to start with the example. This was the example card, and this is what it looks like with my popped up flowers with the gold mixed with the champagne foil. And then for me, I will make this into a full-size card by roughing up the edges. I'm not going to add any color, but I will rough up those edges, and then I will put it on the Petal Pink. I'm not sure if with the Petal Pink I will use the subtle embossing folder, possibly. So that one is the stepped up create card. Then I wanted to show you guys what you can do with the envelopes. If you were wanting to use up all of your materials, you were a person who liked A2 sized cards and didn't want the smaller sized cards, you could take apart the envelopes and make 12 more cards using whatever sentiments fit, and dress them up if you want or leave them plain. I just tacked this onto some Very Vanilla cardstock to show you guys. And for a beginner crafter wanting to make the most out of their materials, I think that's a great use of those envelopes. Then I created some fancier ones, and I'm going to show those last. So now I was working on the stamps, and I created a card with the feather because I really thought that the feather was a really nice stamp, and this is making it into a background and kind of making a more casual card with the bird and the foil. Now this foil came from here. There's only two shots at it, the two in the middle, and I simply just snipped it apart like that, and then put it on a Petal Pink strip and split it so it's actually quite short behind the Hello Friend. So I thought that this card, oh, and then I wanted to show you, if I have it handy, what it looks like. I haven't decided if I'm going to put it on a Very Vanilla base. This would be the Very Vanilla. And I also had in mind and it is not near me, so I will move on, but I want to show you what it looks like on Early Espresso, which is the brown. I found my Early Espresso, and here is what it looks like on the brown. So the brown, again, I haven't tacked it down because I might do the subtle embossing folder again. And I think I like it better on the brown. I just think it's too light and washed out. I like the brown the best. So that's what I will do with that one. I didn't get very far on this, but I wanted to show you how cute the flower stamp is. The flower stamp is like the easiest background to make. This was just a minute, maybe 2 minutes at the most. Very pretty. I like the double lines. And the double lines are in the feathers as well. I like the artist style for this, so you could definitely stretch these decorative stamps. And I really like the sentiment stamps. Okay, so this one is the one that I colored the eggs. I just colored them robin egg color. This one's going to be pretty simple. I've toyed with maybe putting the metallic pearls on, but I thought this is the Layered Leaves Pool Party. I had it already sitting in my inventory as an extra. And I think that this is just a really easy card to make look pretty. I took the edges and I did take my snips to them. Not heavy. I just took the snips and edged so there's some roughness. Then, because I use the spots, I grabbed my own personal spot and I opened it up and I actually just lined the edge. That's how I got such a dark edge. I was looking for sort of a look of another layer, just a very sliver of a layer. And I will attach this to the Pool Party Layered Leaves, and this one will be done. Then I'm getting more elaborate now. This one was a lot of fun. So this is taking a bunch of the pieces I showed you that I took the twine and I separated into its pieces, and then I wrapped it around here. I took the edges and really roughed them up at an angle into a garbage can, because when you rough it up this much, you're going to get a lot of pulp all over your table and make a big mess. And so I made a big mess and learned my lesson. And there is some tearing here that I haven't even decided if I want to emphasize. And if I do curl this tear, this was just a natural tear. It happened because I was using the scissors at too much of an angle and it tore it. And I kind of like that, so I will probably add another tear over here to match. Then I took the splatter stamp and I edged the splatter stamp. Now this paper I think is supposed to be crumb cake, but I compared the colors and I think it goes with gray granite the best. So gray granite it is, and I went ahead after roughing it up, stamped the edges with this gray granite. I went ahead and stamped off. The corners are full strength, and then I just stamped off into the center of each of the corners so that all 4 sides were covered. And then this is probably going to be popped up, and I think this is my favorite. This is envelope piece. It's actually the envelope flap, and I cut it up and then I wrinkled it up into a ball and unwrinkled it and did some edging with the scissors again. This is actually not tacked down very well. I'll tack it down more, but I want it up, so I'll probably sneak dimensionals underneath so that I get some height. And then dimensionals, these are actually, the velvet is on top of dimensionals as well, because I wanted the whole thing popped up. And I really love the bird. So that is a fun thing to work on. I really like that pattern. Then I took the pink. I actually did not rough up the edges, but I did take my sponge and I went around going in a circle all the way around on the 4 corners, and then I took my sponge, which I'm looking for that now. I kind of made a big mess, and I haven't been so messy. All right, so took my sponge and did this after I sponged in to make the center light. Then I did the birds. You can't see the birds as well as I would like, but the way I did the 3 birds, they're like looking at the focal, and this was the focal I made. I formed the flowers, and I took the pink, really neat. I don't know what this is, but it is really cool. I like it a lot. And I did figure eights, 3 figure eights, so that there's 3 different loops on either side. And then I will actually add this right now. So this is a piece, the pink is actually not petal pink. It got put in the petal pink. It is the subtle embossed piece that I told you I just took out of my inventory. And so I sponged it up enough, and then I realized, oh, it matches okay with everything, but it actually is powder pink, I believe, instead of petal pink. So I think this came out lovely. Really like it a lot. Got to figure out where that tendril is going to hang. So it has the little bit of the blue-green, and I like that. And I believe that is all of them. I'm going to go ahead and adhere everything better and come back for a final reveal. I think that this particular set has very useful sentiments that you can mix and match. I had, you know, there's the Hello Friend, which is part of Dear Friend, and there's a For You. There's also Grateful, which I didn't use, and I think that the stamps which I showed you, the decorative stamps, the birds, the feathers, and the flowers are just very useful. I really like this particular paper pumpkin a lot. I tend to always like them, of course, but this one I think is going to be very useful for me. It's a style, I like the shabby chic, I like the distressing. This particular one, which I believe is my favorite, is definitely my style of card, and I also like to play with flowers. So I will be right back to do a final reveal of everything, and then I will be done, and hopefully I gave you lots of inspiration to make a lot of fun cards from this particular paper pumpkin. All right, these are the final cards. I went ahead and roughed up the edges on this one, and I did add a few gold metallic pearls to the eggs, and I'm gonna call them done. I hope you enjoyed this month's paper pumpkin, and that these alternatives inspire you to fun new ways to use the materials to get the most out of your kit. Thanks for watching.